Thank you to Cody for their generous donation on Patreon. If you would like to join them in their generosity, the link to my Patreon page is in the description. Hello everybody, we're back with extracurricular activities. Today we're doing Dozer's Route A. It's day 27, A. It is Saturday, A. We are still doing this shit. Oh, you can't make me stop, A. I kinda want to stop, A. But you fucking won't let me. People keep asking for it. I can't fucking take this shit. I just want to fucking quit. But I fucking can't, bitch. What? Fuck it, I'm just gonna keep playing. Hello, everyone. My name is Decker Link, the trained on professional, and welcome back to Extracurricular Activities. My previous sentiments are only somewhat true. You can decide how much of it is true as you wish. According to the message I got from Dilly, this may or may not be the last day that Dozer has publicly available as of right now. Or it may not. I don't fucking know. But we shall fucking see. You were stirred from your sleep when Dozer squeezed you tightly in his arms, and your face was buried in his smooth pectorals. His fingers ran through your hair, keeping your face pushed into him, and restricted your breathing. The first thing that crossed your mind was that he was asleep. Dozer? His hold loosened, and you sighed as he continued to scratch your head, planting a kiss on your forehead. Morning, Grant. Good morning. For a moment, I thought you were still asleep when you started to squeeze me. I'm sorry. I hope it didn't cause you to panic. Nah. I have an idea how to deal with you when that happens now. It's only a slight concern. If you didn't reply to me, I might have panicked a little more, but even then, I just have to be loud and kind of physical with you. It seems to be the most effective way to wake me up when that happens. And I'm glad you're so understanding about that problem. I can't be mad at you for something out of your control. Maybe we'll figure out what's causing it. He rumbled and pulled you into his naked body. The warmth between being hugged against him and covered by a blanket was nearly enough to put you back to sleep. It's possible we might already have it under control. What do you mean? Well, I think part of the cause was sexual frustration and getting way too pent up. You've been really accommodating to my moods lately, and I think that it helps. If all I have to do is tend to your needs, I don't think it's a problem we have to worry about anymore then. I'm always here to take care of you when the need arises. That's good to know. Again, you were hugged tight, but he made it obvious he was pushing his soft, plump goods against your body. You know, since we're both awake. You ran your hand down his side towards his thigh, knowing what he was about to suggest to you. We should go get breakfast. Oh! If that's what you want, then. It's almost 9, so we don't have long. 9? I didn't realize it was that late. 9 is late? Jesus. I've been awake for about an hour, but I was enjoying holding you so much I couldn't bear to wake you up. You looked so peaceful. Aw, I do appreciate the extra sleep. It makes me feel all fuzzy inside to hear you say that, too. Good. He kissed the top of your head and released you so he could sit up and stretch, showing off his expansive chest in the process. Let's get dressed and head down. We'll decide what we're gonna do today while we eat. Okay. Bruh, what fucking audio. Hey, born to be huge. There we go. Oh, look, it's a buffet today. That's a good thing we got here when we did. I have an entire hour to eat as much as I want. It's self-seating right now, too. I guess because everyone is outside in the snow already, so there's plenty of room. It just means more food for us, so let's grab a table and get started. He picked a table closest to the food bar, and only minutes later he was settling in with plates piled with food of all sorts. Bacon, sausage, eggs, pancakes, oatmeal, fruit. He had it all. I had a breakfast burrito this morning. I made it myself. It was actually really good considering that it was way, different than how I usually make it. but I'm really proud of it, and I ate it properly, and I'm making a lot of changes, and I hope they pay off. I really hope. You have enough food there to last through breakfast and lunch. And this is only round 1. You know, since you haven't been able to work out, your muscles are going to start going soft with all that food you're putting away. That just means I'll have to work out twice as hard when we hit the gym tomorrow. You plan on going to the gym after we get back? I have to make up for the lack of going, especially if I'm going to enter that competition. Checkout time's at 10, so we'll leave after that and stop by the temple to see my dad before leaving Brindle. After dropping our stuff off at home, we can go to the gym and squeeze in an intense workout before returning home to relax for the evening. You mean you can do an intense workout while I spot you, right? I'll be sure to spot you too, but I suppose I won't push you as hard if you'd rather not. Let's wait and see how we feel after today. Remember, day 1 was pretty taxing, and we got to use yesterday to relax and recover from it. All the fun we had in the snow was pretty intense. But the most taxing part of that day was the workout we both got in the bedroom. I can't argue against that. We could always skip the gym and stick to another routine like that, though, if you're interested. Would be preferred to the gym. Then I know what we'll be doing to kick off the week of you staying with me. Can't let you go getting all pent up now, can we? It works out to both of our benefits if we don't let that happen. Jesus, fuck. The breakfast burrito is fighting back. So, is there anything particular you wanted to do more of today? More tubing for sure. I had so much fun doing that with you. I think that was the most fun I had with you. Even more fun than our romp. That's its own thing on a whole different level. I enjoyed snowshoeing too. The view we had once we reached the top was so nice. There were other trails we could follow, so if you want, we can do that after breakfast. I would not want to do anything that restricted my breathing that badly. We can get lunch after that, then do some more tubing, and then just chill. And tonight will definitely be a room service night. We'll order a meal and enjoy it together in the room. Does that sound good to you? I think it sounds like a perfect way to spend the day. Okay, you might hear some sound in the background. We're the dryer just started and it's got Spoof's collar in it. Oh, God. It's also got a pair of shoes in there. Oh, Lord. All right, we're set for the day then. Now, to really dive into this food, there's more on the bar I want to try. You have 40 minutes to eat as much as you want, and I'll use every minute, so pardon me if I don't talk much. I'll cut you some slack this time. Dozer had no trouble going through plate after plate, and you ate slowly in an attempt to not finish eating too long before he did. So, we brought the camera with us, and we haven't done anything with it yet. You're right. I haven't thought about it, but maybe I should take it out for a little bit and take some pictures. It would be good to take with us while snowshoeing. I bet we can get some really nice scenic shots. Definitely. The scenery here is so nice. Maybe I'll even let you take some pictures of me later tonight, too. I can show off a little for you. Maybe set the mood for us to have a little fun. Oh, yeah? That could be fun. I'll put on a jock for you, flex a bit, wag my dick around. Who knows, maybe I'll even let you touch something. I do often dream of caressing those big, mesmerizing eyes of yours. Well, I don't suppose I could judge you if that's what you like, but I'm not letting you touch my eyes. I'll settle with touching dick, too. I thought so. We'll run back to the room and get our jackets and the camera, then go do some hiking. I'm just about done eating. I think one more plate will do me in. You better get it now, then. They probably won't be stocking the bar back up after you're done. I'm on it. There they are. His coat is so huge. You got lucky. There's only a few pairs of snowshoes left. Yeah, seems like there are a lot of people out here right now. I bet the tubing hill is covered up too. No doubt. Maybe it'll die down around lunch, so if we eat quickly, we won't have any problems. The area was bustling as people partook of a variety of snowy activities. I'm really glad we got here on Thursday when there weren't as many people. Same here. It's beginning to feel too crowded now. A little, but we can still enjoy the time we're here. So, y'all set for the hike? Yep, I'm ready whenever you are. I'm good too. We taking a different trail today? We are. This one seems to be just a little longer, but it'll take us around the same spot. I want to take some good pictures, and I'd like to get a nice one of us too. Oh, that's a good idea. Come on, the trail we're hiking is over this way. I'm getting a bad feeling, man. I'm getting a bad fucking feeling. Well, they wouldn't do the same thing 2 times and describe it this much without some shit going wrong. This game is like the equivalent of Not in Nottingham. Like, you can't just have a good thing. Something bad always happens. Not in extracurricular activities. This trail doesn't have too many people on it. Oh God, that means there's not gonna be anyone to come save us. I'm getting bad vibes. Good. That means it'll be more peaceful. Despite the commotion of the area around the lodge, once you were in the snow-covered trees of the mountain, most of the other noise was drowned out. You trekked together through the silence. You see, last time they actually muted the music for this part because of how quiet it was. And Dozer pulled out the camera from time to time to snap a picture. With each picture he took, he appeared to be deeply focused on his subject. You found amusement in watching him, as he put himself in a couple of awkward positions to take shots at unique angles. He's gonna trip and fall, and I'm scared. Check this one out. Famous last words. You moved over to Dozer's side, and he scrolled through a couple of images. Oh, wow, that looks really cool. Weird pose you were in makes sense now. I just wanted to try something unique, and it made for a really cool shot. I never would have guessed photography was something that interested ya. I'd like to get more involved with it. I think it's a fun hobby to have. It's just making time for it. I have so much other stuff that I'm involved with already. That's the best part about hobbies, though. You can invest as little or as much time as you want in them. I want to invest more time in it, though. I just don't have the time to invest. You can still put a little time into it. Even if only an hour a week, it's still something. You're right. Maybe having a little extra motivation will help. I'll stay on you about it then, if you want. It would be appreciated. He tucked the camera away, and you continued your hike up the mountain. The trees began to thin out, along with the air, as you came closer to the peak of the smaller mountain you were on. I forgot about it being harder to breathe as we got higher. I think this is as high as it goes. A little farther, and it'll merge with the path we took yesterday. This is the perfect spot to take some pictures, though. There's so much up here we can see. Well, take your pictures. I'm gonna rest a moment. Alrighty, I'll make it quick then. You took a moment to stand next to Dozer, who put his arm around your shoulder to admire the scene before you. It was just as breathtakingly beautiful as it was the other day, with the brilliant white snow covering the mountains for as far as you could see. Dozer started snapping pictures, and you leaned against a nearby tree, admiring the snowy cliff that loomed not too much higher above you. Are they really going to have us go up in a mountain and not have an avalanche? Oh God, I'm scared. From where you stood, it almost looked like a shelf of snow extending away from the peak of the mountain. Somewhere nearby, you could hear people talking and making noise, breaking the moment of silence you had as your eyes turned back to Dozer. He gave you a wave and a smile, then raised the camera to snap a few pictures of you and the scene around you. Oh, I'm scared. After a few minutes of taking pictures, he tucked the camera back into its case and joined you. Wow. Joined you. You ready to keep going? Yeah, you'll have to show me the pictures when we get back down. Oh, wait, I still need to take a picture of us. I'm scared. He grabbed your hand and pulled you towards where the mountain sloped down, but something else caught his attention. Oh, I fucking knew something was gonna happen. I'm so scared. His eyes went wide and he only reacted. What does that mean? Grabbed you by your arms and with tremendous force threw you down the trail. Gah. You didn't have time to recover before a cascade of snow came tumbling down on you where you had just been standing. I knew it! I said you wouldn't take us up into a snowy mountain without having an avalanche. Dynwolf does not let happy things just happen. It does not happen in this game. Not in Nottingham. Dozer! He didn't have time to move out of the way as the snow swept his legs out from under him and he went tumbling down the mountain with it. Several more people flailed about in the snow as it carried them down through the trees, and all you could do was watch in horror as you lost sight of all of them in the snow. The avalanche only lasted a couple of minutes, and you looked up to see that the cornice of snow that was there before was gone now. You sat there, dazed and shocked as your mind raced to determine what you should do. The GPS locators! You dug the device out of your pocket and mashed the button frantically. After you got no reply, you remembered that you were supposed to hold the button down. You waited a moment, and a voice came through the device. Oh, God, what was the fucking... Oh, this is someone from the security team, so it's not the same fucking guy. This is Raphael with the Brindle Lodge security team. What's your emergency? There was an avalanche on one of the snowshoeing trails. My boyfriend was swept away in the snow, and there was other people as well. I can't see any of them anymore. Please, you have to send someone to help. Okay, I have your location, and we'll be sending a team right away. Stay calm and stay where you are. What's your name? Grant. Grant, don't worry. We'll find everyone and get you all back down here safely. Do you know how many people there were there? I don't. I know I saw at least 3 others aside from my boyfriend. Okay. Keep your device on hand, as we may need to contact you again. Okay. Silence enveloped the area once more, but your device began beeping. Attention to all guests in the mountains. There has been a recent avalanche report, and we are requesting all guests to immediately return to the lodge. I repeat, there has been a recent avalanche report, and we are requesting all quests, really, to immediately return to the lodge. We need to verify the number of missing people and track their locations. Please proceed quickly and careful back to the lodge. You looked down the hill where Dozer was carried, and you strained to see even the slightest sign of something. Several agonizing minutes passed, then you heard a voice. Someone help me. It wasn't a voice you recognized, and it was faint, but they called out again, and you don't have gloves. You're gonna get frostbite. Oh! It's not very steep right there. If I'm careful and move along the trees, I can go look. Who knows how long it'll take for someone else to get here. I have to find Dozer. The thought of Dozer being buried under the snow and unable to move filled you with dread. He could be unconscious or stuck or badly injured. All the worst thoughts ran through your mind as you inched your way down the hill. As you moved down, the voice you heard grew louder. You spotted the source of the voice, someone who appeared to be a few years younger than you and who was partially buried in the snow. You moved closer, and your stomach lurched as you saw his leg was twisted in an unnatural way from out of the snow. He heard you and spun his head around to look at you. Please, you have to help me. I can't move my leg. I can't get out of the snow. Someone's on the way to help. They shouldn't be long. Do you know how many people were with you? Oh, God, where are they? There were 5 of us, but I don't know where they are. Tears were streaming down his face, and he looked terrified. We were all just standing around the cliff, and it suddenly gave out beneath us. I didn't know, and I didn't see anyone else as we fell. And all I could hear was the snow. What if they're all dead? Sobbing tore through him, and your chest grew tight. They were on top of the snow when it came down, but Dozer was carried down the bottom of it. Where's your GPS tracker? I don't know. In my pocket, I think? He started to dig through the snow around him, Before you got too far down, you stopped. Try not to look at your leg.
What's wrong with my leg?
Just don't look.
Oh, fuck. Is my leg gone? Is that why I can't move it?
Choking sobs racked his body as you dug towards his pocket. No, it's still there, but I'm pretty sure it's broken. I'm gonna stick my hand in your pockets for your GPS, okay? He only nodded, and you managed to find his locator after checking a couple of his pockets. You activated it again and waited for a voice to reply. Raphael from Pinto Lodge Security. How may I assist you? Raphael, it's Grant again. I heard someone calling for help, and I found them buried in the snow. I think his leg is broken, and he's not going to be able to walk. He also said he was with 4 other people, meaning there's at least 5 missing. Copy that. You need to stay put, Grant. It's dangerous for you to be moving around. How long will it take for anyone else to get up here? 20 to 30 minutes still. That amount of time could mean life or death for someone, so I'm going to look around for more. I'll be careful. You still have your GPS locator, right? I do. If you find anyone else, let me know right away. I will.
You're leaving me? You can't!
I'm gonna see if I can find any of your friends. I have to find Dozer. Help will be here soon for you, so keep your locator handy and don't try to move around. I'm sure I won't be too far away either. You looked around the area and tried to piece together where the snow had traveled, and you continued to walk down. The scene of Dozer grabbing you and throwing you played in your head over and over. Damn it, Dozer, you could have jumped back and avoided it completely. Or if you said something, I could have moved. You could have moved too. What if I hadn't moved to take a break? We could have taken the picture already and we could have been gone before it all happened.
Hello? Can anyone else hear me? Dozer? Anyone? Down here?
Another voice caught your attention, and you moved quickly from tree to tree as you went down the hill. The mountain made a steep decline, and you peered over the top. Your heart nearly jumped from your chest when you saw Dozer sitting in the snow down below. Dozer! Are you okay? I'm all right. I'm coming down. No! You stay there. It's dangerous for you to try. You hesitated, but seeing that Dozer was okay was enough for you to listen to him. That's when you noticed that someone else lying in the snow not too far from him, so you pointed at the person.
What about that person?
She's unconscious. I dug her out of the snow. Have you used your locator? It broke. Do you have yours? You waved it at him and buzzed in to call Raphael again. You let him know you found 2 others and their conditions, and he told you his team was already in the area and should be there in a few minutes to retrieve everyone.
The rescue team will be here soon.
Good. How are you holding up?
I'm cold, but I'll manage. What about you?
Sore. I really took a tumble. You sat against a tree, letting relief sink in that things were going to be okay. 10 minutes passed, and you could hear voices getting closer, so you called out to them. Soon enough, a team of people with sleds and other equipment showed up and began the process of extracting you and the others from the mountainside. You led a few of them to where you found the first person, and Dozer was taken with the other along a different path for you to meet up with later.
Dozer!
Dozer was stepping out of a paramedic truck when you reached the lodge once again, and he smiled as you approached him. You lunged at him, wrapping your arms tightly around him, and he pulled you close to comfort you.
I was so worried.
I was pretty worried about you, too. I wasn't sure you were far enough away to avoid the snow falling down. I hope it didn't hurt you when I threw you.
No, I'm fine. I was just scared that something terrible happened to you.
Your kaiju is pretty resilient, so it'll take a lot more than some snow to hurt me. They checked me out just to make sure, and at most I'll just have some bruises and be a little sore.
What about the others?
The girl I was with probably has a concussion, but she was conscious by the time we got back. I heard they found 2 others near the top of the mountain where the snow fell from, and they were unharmed. I can't say about anyone else, though. The guy I found was in pretty rough shape. Leg was all mangled and jutting out of the snow in a weird way. It was definitely broken. I can't get that image out of my head.
I'm sorry I had to see that. He was alive though, right? Yeah. He's the reason I went looking for people in the first place. I heard him calling for help. It was stupid of you to go looking for anyone else, you know. What if more snow came down afterwards? I know, but I couldn't just wait. Someone needed my help, and I just... But it was also brave of you, and I'm proud to call you my boyfriend. I'm just so glad that you're safe. I'm glad that you are too. He gave you another tight hug and kissed the top of your head. How about we go inside and warm up? We can go get some lunch. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty hungry after all that. We can get a hot lunch and relax for a bit. I'm not all that hungry, but I might be able to eat something when we get there. And if you're still up for it, we'll go tubing after. If not, we'll just spend the rest of the day in the room. I think I still want to go tubing. It'll keep my mind preoccupied, or keep my mind occupied. All right, we'll do that then. Will you be okay to do that? Don't worry about me. I'll be fine. I'll be in order for a nice long soak in the hot bath later, but I'll be okay. Might even need a good rubbing if you're willing to offer a helping hand with that. I think I can help you there. Let's get going. My stomach is growling. A flicker of distress crossed Dozer's face as you were heading into the lodge, and his eyes were drawn back towards the paramedic's vehicle. You turned to where his attention was, but he laughed and bumped you along, not letting you look. Less rubbernecking and more walking, or you're gonna get a smack from me before we get to the dining room. The look of concern was only on his face for a moment, but you brushed it off and walked into the lodge with him being the wall he was behind you. Oh no. Did he roll into someone and kill them? Accidentally, obviously, but... Oh man. I feel like we were here only a few minutes ago. I can't believe your stomach is already growling. It's been a couple hours though, and we've expended a lot of energy. I guess. Looks like with the recall, there's a whole bunch more people here than we were hoping for. Yeah. I hope they found all the people that were missing. I'm sure they did, so I wouldn't worry about it. They all had GPS trackers. Yeah, you're right. Oh hey, a table is already available for us too. Benefit of only being a party for two. Yeah. This feels a little surreal to me. Why is that? We were just involved in a really serious accident, and now we're just here, casually having lunch together. It feels so weird. What else would you expect? I don't know. Neither of us got injured, and there's nothing else we can really do than go about our day, other than go about our day. He took your hands in his and squeezed them tight. We can be thankful that we are well and still have each other. I am. Like I said, it just feels weird is all. Was it like that when your school had that bombing? Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Kinda. It happened. The injured were treated, and we all went home. They brought in counselors to talk to everyone and spent extra time with those that needed it, but otherwise, things went on like normal. I see. I guess I shouldn't really expect anything else. Most of these people around probably have no idea what happened. All in all, almost nobody was affected by it. It might be different if it had been a bigger avalanche, but it was pretty small and didn't cause any damage. At most, they'll close off the surrounding trails until they determine the cause of the avalanche. Do you think it was caused by the other people? We were the only ones around at the time, and you mentioned they found 2 others near the peak. I even saw a couple others in the snow that as it rolled past me. It's possible it was because of them, but we might never know for sure. Again, he gave your hands a firm squeeze, and your eyes were drawn to his face. You know, I haven't thanked you yet. For what? You very well could have saved my life there. I could have ended up like that guy with the mangled leg, or I could have ended up buried under feet of snow. Just the thought of being buried alive is making me anxious. So, thank you. You don't have to thank me, Grant. But you put yourself in danger to save me. Who knows what would have happened to me otherwise? It's not that I put myself in danger, I just didn't think I was going to have time to get away. The only thing that was on my mind was making sure you were safe. I won't lie, I was so worried about you while I was waiting. I didn't dare try to climb up and look for you, though. I'm a big guy, so I could have caused more of a problem. I'm glad you stayed put. Things really could have gone so much worse. I don't know what I would have done if something had happened to you. I'm okay, so don't think about what could have been. Come on, let's decide on what to eat so we can go tubing some more. We don't want all the tubes to be gone before we get there. Okay. He let go of your hands, but he kept his contact with you by rubbing his feet against yours while he picked up a menu. And Grant, I love you. Love you too, Dozer. He smiled, staring at you a moment longer, then turned his attention back to the menu. Okay, food. I didn't even think to ask until now, but was the camera okay? Yeah, it seemed to be okay. One of the spare lenses broke, but otherwise the camera's fine. Oh, good. I thought about bringing it down with us again, but I didn't want to risk another tumble while tubing and not being so lucky again. Probably for the best. We'll get some more pictures as we're leaving tomorrow. And some other special ones tonight. Oh, yes. I really want to see all those ones you took already. We'll look at them when we get back to the room later. For now, let's snag a couple of tubes and go enjoy the slopes while we can. The tube and slopes were busy, but it wasn't covered up enough to where the experience was any less fun than before. You forgot about the troubles from earlier in the day while enjoying yourself going up the hill and down the hill. After nearly an hour of tubing, it was time to warm up and take a break. I'm ready for some hot chocolate. How about you? Definitely. I'm a weird combination of hot and cold right now. Your face is kind of red, so we should go sit in the lobby. We can continue after we warm up. Sure. As soon as Dozer turned around, you scooped up some snow and lobbed a ball of it at him. It exploded on his shoulder and he stopped in his tracks. I'm pretty sure we've been through this before, and it didn't work in your favor. He leaned over and scooped up enough snow to make a snowball the size of your head. Remember what happened last time? Maybe I should refresh your memory. He stepped towards you with a giant snowball raised over his head, and as he got closer to you, he slipped. He dropped the snowball on his head and toppled forward, knocking you back into a snowbank as he landed heavily on top of you. He laughed loudly and pushed himself up onto his hands and knees, hovering over you as his laughter shook the snow from his head and onto you. That's not what I had planned. I'm sure you weren't scheming to just crush me under all those thick muscles of yours. I didn't hurt you, did I? Knocked the wind out of me, but the snow cushioned my fall. I think I'll live. Good. Otherwise, this might be weird. He kept you pinned in the snowbank as he lowered himself, pushing you down into the cold snow as his lips meshed with yours. He knocked the wind out of him. He needs to breathe. Don't smother him with your face. You forgot about the cold, and the warmth flowed through your body while his lips played together with yours. It was a short, passionate kiss, and after he broke the connection, he stood up and pulled you to your feet, leaving you mildly dazed and tingling. Let's go get the hot chocolate now. I don't think I need it anymore. I'm already warmed up. Dozer retrieved your thermoses from the lockers, and once they were filled with the steaming beverage, you followed him into the lobby. You cuddled up against him on a couch, looking out over the snowy mountains and sighed. This is nice. It really is. I'm here with my amazing boyfriend. We have a wonderful view. This is the best damn hot chocolate I've ever had. What could be better? Maybe if we were naked and alone up in our room, we'd have everything else, just an extra perk. Maybe after this next bout of tubing, then. A hot bath and shower to warm up, then we have the whole evening to just the two of us. Bath, definitely. The soreness is starting to settle in. Are you down to keep tubing, then? We can call it a day now if you like. I don't want to stop you from having fun. I'm fine to go a little while longer. I'm sure there's something else we could do that's not as stressful on your body. Like, there's a hot tub outside, isn't there? I'm pretty sure I saw one near the pool. We can use the pool without going through the spa, right? We can. How about a little compromise then? Let's go tube for a little longer, then we consider the hot tub for a bit. It's not quite the same thing as taking a hot bath together, but I could go for the scenic view while we soak. I'm okay with that idea. No masturbating in the hot tub, though. What, you didn't enjoy it yesterday? No, I did. I'd rather save something like that for the privacy of our own room, though. Who says we can't do it there, too? Nobody. But the hot tub isn't as private as the bath we were in. Or so you think. We could have it all to ourselves for all we know. Oh, Dozer. The offer will be on the table in case you get interested. A big hand squeezed your leg and you laughed as it moved up your thigh. You knocked into him and he wow, that comma is really trying to make a run for it. And he wrapped his arm around you, squeezing you close. I'm sure I'll be nice and sore by the time we're done playing in the snow. So I'm looking forward to relaxing for the rest of the day. I won't make you stay out there for much longer. You can keep me out there for as long as you want. I'll live. Oh, hey, after we're done tubing, before we go to the hot tub, we should get Maria and Richard a souvenir. Oh, yeah, we should. There's that little shop next to where we got our hot chocolate, so we can check that out. What do you think we should get for them? I don't know. We'll have to see what they have. Maria will like anything we get for her, but I don't know about Richard. I'm ready to head back out there, too. My hot chocolate's gone, and I feel warmed all the way through. Let's get to it, then. I can't believe I agreed to come back to this. There's no backing out now. After wiping out a couple more times, I'm ready for this hot soak. I'm not gonna back out, but I'm also not gonna not whine about the cold. Well, prepare yourself then. The hot tub is empty, so just run and jump in. Go! You skidded towards the tub quickly with Dozer behind you, but you hit a patch of ice on the patio and slid forward. Ow, God! Dozer grabbed you by the arms and kept you from falling. Then you proceeded to the edge of the tub, wasting no extra time splashing down into the steaming and bubbling water. Whew, you really saved me again. Gotta be careful out here. If you to go get through that avalanche only to succumb to a spot of ice. I'm sorry. I'll be more careful after when we leave. Not that I'll be willing to get out anytime soon. Same here. This water feels great, and I can already feel the soreness bubbling away. You know, I'm gonna go play in the snow once I really heat up, though. You have fun with that. You should do it too. Just once. I don't think so. That just sounds miserable. But the snow is so close. It's just a few feet away. You can jump into it and then right back into the nice warm water. I bet it would feel like moving from cold to hot water in the spa yesterday. Probably, but that felt great too. You're a madman. I could just pick you up and throw you into the snow. You wouldn't dare. Maybe I would dare. He floated over to you and pretended to hoist you out of the water, lifting you just enough where a blast of cold air hit you before lowering you again. Once you were back in the water, he positioned himself with his back to your chest, sinking down into the water where your chin could rest on his head. Aw. Your hand slid down over his chest and you held him against you. Devious beast. I just have to express my dominance from time to time. Like I don't already know who's in charge here. Don't you forget that either. Although I feel like I'm the one in control now. Not used to being in this position, huh? Not at all. And it feels nice being the one that holds you for a change. I like the feeling too. I'll have to try it more often. Your fingers poked into his chest idly, and you closed your eyes, feeling utmost relaxation in the hot water with Dozer resting against you. Feel like I could fall asleep right here like this. For a few minutes, you remained as such, but you opened your eyes when Dozer rolled over to face you. He was holding onto your legs to keep himself stable where he floated, and his tail raised up out of the water, its tip pointing down at its back. Hi. Hey. What's up? Just wanted to look at you is all. That all? Maybe I wanted to kiss you too. Kiss me then. He slowly walked himself closer, his lips pressed against yours. You held him by his cheeks, keeping him there for several long seconds. Satisfied? That was pretty good. Why don't you give me another? Gladly. Your lips locked together again, and you gasped into his mouth when his hand groped your semi-hard meat through your swim trunks. Moof. What did I say about not masturbating in the hot tub? You didn't say I couldn't tease you. Nobody's paying attention to us right now. I have a perfect view of everyone out here. Dozer adjusted himself, sitting on his knees to straddle your lap and put your face at chest level with him. He made no attempt to be subtle with his boner poking against you. Why don't you give it a feel? Aw, jeez, Dozer. Do it. Fuck, why not? You obeyed, gripping the thick shaft in your hand, bounced at your touch, and you rubbed your fingers against it slowly. You like how that feels, don't you? As much as I'm sure you like it. Oh yeah, I definitely like it. Bet you like this too, then. You tugged at the waistband of his shorts and let his bare dick pop out and rust against you. For someone that said I wasn't allowed to do anything in the hot tub, you sure are teasing me a lot. It's just to give you something to look forward to later. Your fingers circled around the ridge of his cork head, and when you tickled the underside, it bobbed quickly. After pressing your finger against his slit and making him lean forward against you, you tucked his dick back into his shorts and wiggled it around. I think that's good enough for now. Getting me all worked up just to leave me hanging like that, it's wrong. You'll be fine. Direct that pent-up feeling when it's just us in our room. You better be ready for it. Getting me all worked up in public is a huge button for me. So I've come to learn. The inside of my swimsuit's gonna be slime. Ew! Ew! Yours isn't the only one. You wiggled his hips around, using his body to tease you beneath him. You better stop with the teasing or I'm gonna overheat before my boner goes away. Getting hot? Very. Does that mean I need to throw you in the snow now? You might have to. Moved to hoist you out of the water again, and you flailed around, keeping your hand over your crotch as you were lifted to the edge of the tub. He stood in front of you and let his hands rest on your shoulders while you shivered. Nobody's gonna see our stiffies from here, so relax. Just cool off a minute. I'm cool already. Just on the surface, your whole body needs to cool down. It didn't take long for both of you to go soft, and the cold was quick to penetrate your body. Okay, back in the water I go. He slipped through Dozer's hands and dropped into the water, but it put his crotch right in your face. Well, since you're there, don't even think about it. Sit. I'm gonna jump into the snow real quick first. He did just that, jumping out of the hot water to fall into the snow. After playing in the cold a moment, something grabbed his attention, and he crouched next to a pot with purple flowers poking through the snow. Babe, did you see these flowers? I didn't notice them until now. I was more focused on not freezing. These flowers are growing despite all the snow and how cold it is. Oh, I guess that's pretty cool. I thought snow and winter always killed everything. Exactly. I'm sure that there's a few flowering plants that really do well up here, and this seems to be one of them. He lifted his fingers lifted the delicate flower up so he could examine it further, and he leaned down to sniff it. There's only a light fragrance to it, but it's nice. I wonder what it is. I'll see if I can look it up later. It's poison oak! I don't know what it would be. He was more talking to himself at this point, and he looked it over a few more minutes before plopping down under the water beside you. So, you don't know what kind of flower it is? No clue, but I'll figure it out. It's a pretty flower, and it would be nice to have something that blooms in the winter while everything else is dead. It would be nice. He rolled back over onto his belly and rested his head on his arms, folded on the deck surrounding the hot tub, looking out over the snowy environment. You did the same as him and leaned your head against him. Whatever got you so interested in plants and gardening? What made you like plants so much? Well, there's a couple of reasons I really got into it. One reason is because of the positive impact it has on the world. I could grow my own herbs at home, and one day I'll have my own vegetable garden, so I can have fresh veggies all the time. That's a pretty good reason for it. It's a nice cycle with the composting, too. I could use my food waste in compost, and that'll nourish new vegetables. Literally nothing will go to waste like that. What's the other reason? My mom. Oh yeah? Was she into gardening too? Not at all. When I was younger and things were really bad at home, I would see her crying often in her room. For a long time, I rarely saw her smile, and it would make me sad. One day, I picked a bunch of flowers and gave them to her. I hadn't seen her smile like she did then in a long time, and I felt happy again seeing her smile. From that point on, I'd bring her flowers from time to time, and I started growing my own. It was all just so I could make her happy and see her smile again. Aw, Dozer. It worked too. She was always happy seeing my plants and how much they would grow. No matter what kind of condition we were in, no matter where we lived, the plants always grew and continued to bloom. He sighed and leaned his head to the side to look at you. His gaze was as soft as his voice when he spoke again. And that's why I like plants so much. You found yourself unable to say anything else, and he turned his attention back out to the snow. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring the mood down with that little bit, but you didn't bring the mood down any. I just wasn't expecting that answer. It's really amazing of you. It's such a sweet and thoughtful thing to do. I'm sure those times were tough for you both, but I bet that one simple act did so much more than you'll ever know. He rolled over again to be on his back, and he pulled you over to where you were floating on top of him. I never in a million years would have imagined this big, muscled beast of a man would have such a tender side to him. Is it really that surprising? Well, yeah. Nobody looks at you and thinks, I bet that guy is super sweet and really gentle. I know I never did. What did you used to think of me? You were always quiet. You just seemed distant. I never saw you as unfriendly or anything like that. Just antisocial? That's fair. I don't talk to a lot to most people. I guess I do give off that kind of vibe, huh? A little. But you know, thanks to you, I felt more open about talking with other people. I don't feel like much of a loner anymore. Well, that's good to hear. You're such an interesting and amazing person. More people really need to get to know you. And who better to start with than the tennis team? I guess that would be easiest. I'm not sure Darius would be interested. All he ever seems to want is sex, and he'd probably just ask about our dicks a lot or offer threesomes. He's not my first choice of someone to invite to a threesome. Well, then who would be? I'm gonna guess Chester. Oh, who would I want to have as our third? It's hard to say, really. I like having you all to myself. I'm perfectly content with it being that way, too. You might be a lot to handle, but I'd say I've done a pretty good job with it so far. You sure have. You think you're ready to handle me some more? I think I'm just about done here, and I'm feeling the need to get the need growing. Okay. We derailed our topic a little bit, but I think I'm ready to head back to the room anyway. That's my fault, huh? I'm sorry. It's fine. I would like to hang out more with the team outside of practice. I think it could be a lot of fun. We'll definitely do something more then. I think it'd be fun too. You ready to brave the cold? Are you ready to head back to the room? Yeah, I'm ready to go now. I've been in here long enough. I knew it was gonna happen eventually. So much for being warm and happy. Need me to carry you again? Yes. I need your dragon's warmth to survive this. You can count on me. Just hope he doesn't slip. He moved out from under you and knelt in the water, cradling you on your back and arms and against his chest. You ready? As ready as I can be. Okay, here we go then. He jumped up out of the water and bounded towards the building with you pulled close. Okay, good. Oh, Jesus. I'm thinking it'll be best if we order room service now so we don't have to worry about being disturbed for the rest of the evening. I agree. It'll probably take like an hour to get here anyway. That's what I figured too. Let's see what all we can order with room service. The menu was small, and it didn't take long for either of you to decide on what you were getting. Dozer called in the order and began stripping while he was on the phone. We got grapes! After thanking whoever he was talking to, he put the phone down. Okay. It'll only be half an hour, so we can go ahead and shower while we wait. You gonna last that long? I'll make it. The shower will keep me distracted too, so let's get cleaned up. You got the shower ready while Dozer got fresh clothes ready for you both to wear. It's nice to be in the warmth again. Was the room cold for you? It's a little chilly in there. We've been gone all day and we haven't had any heat on. I'll start the fireplace when we get out of the shower. We can eat our food there and snuggle up after. I'll keep you warm. I like how that sounds. And after that... Sorry, we're still covered. We'll have some fun. Sounds like fun to me. It's taking a lot of effort not to just push you into the wall and fuck you right here. What's stopping you? Time. It's gonna take a lot more than half an hour to prep that tight hole and have my way with it. I'm sure it's still ready from the other night. He grabbed you and pulled you in, letting his hands slide around to your butt, spread your cheeks apart, and his finger grazed over your pucker while he held you close. No way. Your back door is as tight as the first day I went through it. You've got a ways to go before you can take me on a whim. Give me a couple more goes and I'll bet I'll be fine. I'll give you a weekly prostate massage, and you'll be good to bottom whenever I feel the need to be on top. And that's something you can expect often. As long as I can walk it's just TH. Next day, bring it on. No guarantee on that one, but we'll see. Your butt was kneaded while he held you against him, and after a few slaps, he let go. Let's make this shower quick. I don't want to miss our room service. I'll start scrubbing you down if you start on me. Will do. You grabbed the soap and went to work on his chest and stomach, and he started with your hair. It always feels like I'm washing a brick wall or something when it comes to him. He's broad, and his body is so firm. What's with that far-off look on your face? Lost between my pecs? His chest bounced under your hands, and you gripped them with soapy hands. Kinda. I was just thinking about about your body and how it feels. And how is that? Like a fleshy brick wall. I can feel all the muscles in there, and every time you move, I feel them working. I'll never cease to be impressed with your body, Dozer. It'll always make me happy to hear that. I'm really looking forward to getting back to the gym tomorrow. I've missed out on some gains while we've been out here, and I have to make up for all the food we've eaten. You'll never see my abs if I keep this up. He bumped his stomach against you with a laugh. You don't have to have your abs showing. I know they're there because I can feel them. I like how your body looks as it is too. Yeah, you're healthy and in good shape, but ultimately it comes down to whatever makes you the happiest. That's what I want the most. So if you want abs, go for the abs. I'll support you no matter what you do. Having your support makes me the happiest. And to be fair, look at some of the strongest people in the world. A lot of them don't have defined abs. They have guts that look like mine does. You're perfect for the strong beast competition, then. Maybe. We'll see. I really need to research that a little more and get on the ball of preparing for it. I was skeptical at first, but the more I think about it, the more excited I get. It'll be fun to compare how strong I am to other guys my size. You're the biggest guy I've ever seen in our gym. I almost feel like that flyer was put in our gym just for you. By who? The author? There are a couple other guys that come close to me that I've seen around campus, but I've only ever seen them in the gym a couple of times. A lack of dedication on their part. I bet they don't have anywhere near as much muscle as you do. Maybe not. We'll see if any of them join the competition too. I guess we don't have a choice but to go back to the gym when we get back tomorrow. Having second thoughts about it? If it means supporting you in something you want to do, I'll do it. The extra motivation will really help me out. Having you with me will make me push to do the best I can. You can count on me, Dozer. Glad to know you're on my side. My squishy little meat sack. You poked your softer areas and you laughed and pulled his heavy hands back to your head. That pet name is not gonna stick. What about my little monster? That sounds like something you'd call your child, and I'm certainly not your child. My minion? Pass. Terrorized citizen. You're not even trying now. I have no idea what I should call you outside of calling you babe or hun or something generic. He stroked his chin while looking down at you. You're sweet, smaller and weaker than I am, charming, meaty. You're my sweet meat. That's better than being your meat sack. And it goes doubly for whenever I make those jokes about devouring you, because I'm a big old kaiju. Pulled you in and playfully bit down on your shoulder before dragging his tongue up to your neck. Again, you felt his teeth press into your skin, and he rumbled as he put more pressure into it, following it up with light, sensual kisses. You wouldn't mind letting this big monster swallow you whole now. Are we getting into vor now? Is that what that is? I don't know. His presence and his body both swallowed you already, and for a moment you were nothing more than prey for the predator. He kissed your neck again and ran his finger along your throat to your chin and stepped back. We're still covered up good. Here's another wall to handle now. Make it quick, because I've lost track of how long we've been in here already. I already got your back real good, so after you're done with mine, we'll get out. More so than his front, did his back feel like a wall towering before you when you put your hands against it. How does everything look back there? Thick. That shouldn't come as a surprise, though. Nope, not at all. He stood up straight and he shifted his body around, making sure you were able to see all the different muscles flexing. I'm starting to wonder if there's any part of you that isn't a massive hunk of muscle. I don't think there is. That's all you're gonna find on me. Even my tail has some pretty strong muscles in it. You glanced down to see his tail slithering between your legs, and it curled up to poke your butt. Why don't you see how far around me you can wrap your arms? I can already tell you I won't be far. Just try it. He lowered his tail and you stepped behind him. You pressed yourself into his back and reached around from behind. Your hands made it around his pecs, but you stopped so you could grope them. It was a different feeling for you to do it from behind like this. You kept your body hugged tight to his and rolled his chest around, just enjoying the feeling. As much as we both like you grabbing my chest, we'll stand a better chance if you move your hands down a little more. You're at the thickest point. But this is one of the best points. You slid your hands down, but you still couldn't reach your hands all the way, leaving you slapping your hands against his wet, scaly skin. Jeez, I knew I wasn't going to get far, but I'm still surprised I can't even get my fingertips to touch. It's just so damn thick. Yep. Now show me what you can do and squeeze me as hard as you can. Really? Mm-hmm. Put everything you got into it. No need to worry about hurting me either. That's just a nice way of saying I'm weaker than you. You said it, not me. His body resisted as you tightened your arms around him and squeezed him as tight as you could. You can start whenever. I'm ready for you. I'm squeezing with all I have. Squeeze harder. I'm trying. There was next to no give, no matter how tight you squeezed your arms around him. And you finally gave up, stepping back with a shake of your head. Oh, and about as well as I expected it would. You got some strength in you, too. I could definitely tell. Just doesn't come anywhere close to mine. Obviously. We'll fix that eventually, and you'll even be able to lift me up. That sounds unlikely to ever happen. I guess we'll just have to pump you up and find out, won't we? Though I'll admit, being as big as I am has some drawbacks. Such as, I need my boyfriend to help dry my back since I can't exactly reach all of it. Snirk. I can definitely do that. Grabbed a towel and got to work. Dozer had shooed you out of the bathroom before you got dressed, and while you waited for him, a knock came to the door and a cart was passed off to you with your dinner. Dozer, come in. Dinner is here. I'm here. What were you doing? I was just looking over myself in the mirror, admiring your own body. Only a little bit. I was making sure everything was in order and that there was nothing out of the ordinary. It's good to do a thorough examination of your body for any odd changes. Makes sense that you do something like that. You should get into the habit too. He pulled your shirt up and mocked like he was examining you. You should get into the habit of looking it over too then. I will. Someone has to make sure you stay healthy. You sat together on the couch with your cart of food, and he lowered it to use as a table after fiddling with some levers on it. The fire really helps set the mood a bit too, right? It is pretty romantic. I think this was a much better idea than sitting in a crowded diner for the evening. Me too. We have a peaceful room all to ourselves, right next to a cozy fire. I don't think things could be more perfect than this. I just realized the fucking grapes are still up. I'm sorry, guys. What a way to spend our last day, huh? It has been a day, hasn't it? Yeah. It still feels so weird that things could have gone so differently today. We're lucky that it didn't. We're both uninjured and still have our lives. His eyes wandered off to the window after he said that, and he looked troubled. Are you still feeling sore? Only a little, so you don't have to worry about me. But hey, look what else I ordered for us tonight. From the bottom of the cart, he produced a bottle of wine and 2 glasses. I got a little something extra to celebrate our final night with. There's chocolate caramel bundt cake for us to share after our meal, too. Ooh, that's all so fancy. He popped the cork from the wine, and it'd be funny since I say cork instead of cock instead of cork. He popped the cock from the wine and poured 2 glasses of the fragrant drink. We're taking a sip. He held his cup up to you. Here's to the amazing weekend we've had together, and even more time together in the future. I'm really looking forward to every second I get to spend with you. Cheers. Cheers, Dozer. You tapped your glasses together and took a swig. The wine was sweet and packed a punch behind it, making your face pucker. Whoa, that's strong. It's got a unique flavor, too. It's a special bottle they only sell up here. That'd be nice to try. I like how it tastes. And by all means, drink all you want. I think one glass will be plenty for me. Will do. I'm a big guy, so it'll probably take the whole bottle to do anything to me. You downed the glass and one more swallow and filled it again to sip on through the meal. Let's dig in now. The food is piping hot still, and it smells amazing. Dinner was spent in mostly silence. Beyond the sounds of the fire cracking, the only other thing you heard were Dozer's hums while he munched. One of his hands rested on your knee while you ate, and he rubbed and squeezed it gently through the meal. The main course was dispatched quickly, and Dozer moved the dirty dishes away to replace them with a small cake and 2 forks. Man, my steak was cooked absolutely perfectly, and it was so good. Sorry I didn't say much while I ate again. You're fine, Dozer. You really seem to enjoy your food. Oh my god, another line absolutely butchered. Jesus Christ, I don't think I said a single word properly toned. You like yours too? The bite you gave me made me want more. Oh yeah, I loved it. It was a great dish. You should learn how to make it too. Sounds like I have a couple of new things to learn how to make then. Jabbed his fork into the cake, extracting a gooey piece of it and held it up to your mouth. First bite is yours, so open up. It looks divine, so gladly. The cake was moist and full of flavors that melted into your mouth. Seeing the pleasure spread across your face, Dozer took a bite and sighed deeply. Oh God, I'm as moist as the cake is after tasting it. It is really good. You better eat fast, because this thing's not gonna last. Next bite that went into his mouth was nearly a quarter of the cake. It was only a few minutes before the two of you had devoured the entire dessert and finished off the bottle of wine. Oh, wine paired perfectly with that cake. It did. It's making me kind of warm, though, especially with the fire going. He sunk back into the couch and patted his stomach. I think I've stored enough food away to last the rest of the evening. You and me both. You lay the back or your head in his lap with your legs hanging out the couch. He ran his fingers through your hair while looking down at you. You satisfied? Very. You? I just want to sit here like this with you for now. His fingers shifted into scratching your head, and his other hand slipped up your shirt to rub your stomach and chest. Felt good with your fully belly and slight buzz. Fully belly. Oh boy. Y'all better keep track of that typo log, I'm just saying. You were content to let him dote on you while you rested on him. My puppy. He mumbled that, and right away his face flushed. Sorry, it kind of slipped out. It's not because I was thinking of Harvey or comparing you to him or anything like that. You just seemed so content to have your head scratched and belly rubbed right now, so it really made me think of you like a dog. I mean it when I say it has nothing to do with Harvey. He was the last thing on my mind. Oh. That's sad. Obviously the right thing to do is to accept his excuse. I'm curious what happens if we say reject, but I'm not gonna stick with that. What happens? It feels like a really weak excuse. There's still something in there that makes you think of Harvey, even during these really intimate moments. Sighs. I'm really sorry, Grant. He withdrew his hands and crossed his arms over his chest. Look on his face made it look like your response really bothered. Yep, see, it really fucked up. It really fucked him up. So that was a softball. Like, obviously that was not the right choice. But yeah, it really bothers him. It's okay, Dozer. Relax. I'm never bothered by the comparisons with Harvey to begin with, and I believe you when you say that it isn't what spurred what you said. So, you're not upset with it? Not at all. I'm so relieved to hear that. I was afraid I just ruined the whole mood. Nope, you'd not ruined anything. In fact, you took the hand that was on your stow match and guided it a little further down so Dozer's hands was resting against a firm bulge in your shorts. Oh. Having your hands on me always has side effects. His hand continued to rub and tease you through your shorts as he continued to scratch in your head. Well then, how about we have that little bit of fun I've been talking about all day? Let me flaunt my muscles for you a bit and see where things go from there. I like how that sounds. And I might have put on something a little special for you too. Part of me admiring myself in the bathroom was to see how good it looked on me. Oh, I'm even more interested now. It's the jock. He said it was the jock. He gripped your dick when you made it bounce under his hand. You definitely are. I hope you enjoy what I have in store then. I bought this just for you, but I feel pretty good wearing it, and I think I look good in it too. Well, show me what it is already. And I got a feeling I gotta skip. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'll see you on the other side of it. I gotta explain this every time. I don't. This series, 120 whatever the fuck episodes in, I don't need to explain this shit anymore. YouTube gets mad. Gotta see you on the other side. Sorry. Alright, we're on the other side of it now. They fucked. But now, we're in the afterglow. I could lay here and stare at you like this for the rest of my life and be happy. You couldn't help but laugh when he said that. You pulled his hand to your cheek. What's so funny? Just a few minutes ago, you were buried balls deep in my ass, growling like a ferocious beast as you fucked me. Now, you're back to this big, gentle lug that's stolen my heart. You're so different when you're horny. You were being pretty horny, too. I was. It's not as extreme of a difference as when it's you. I don't think there's anything wrong with it either. It's part of who you are, and it's one of those things that I really like about you, too. You could be so tender, but you could be so rough, too. I'm lucky I get to have both sides. He didn't say anything else, but he scooped you into his arms and pulled you back to his chest in a gentle embrace. So, you really like stuff like this, huh? Yeah, I love being like this with you. It's so comforting and you're so warm. And he groped your chest and kept your corking balls in his oversized hand biting down on your neck. And you like this too? Uh-huh. His bite was followed with soft kisses, and his groping returned to hugging. For a bit he held you there. Held you there, good lord. And you were happy. As much as I enjoy this, we should continue it after another shower. Your ass is a sticky mess, and I don't want to have to peel my dick off of you. Yeah, it's a good idea. I'll give you a few minutes to freshen yourself up a bit, then you can call me when you're ready for me to join. Okay. Before he let you go, he squeezed you tightly and kissed your cheek, nuzzling you against your head after. I love you, Grant. I love you too, Dozer. You rolled off the bed, and with a slap on your ass, you were sent to the shower to wash up before a night filled with cuddling with your kaiju-sized boyfriend. There's another day! Oh my god! We're never gonna get to the end of this. I'm not, urging it to be over, but it's like, oh my god. How long, man? How long? We will see day 28 in the next episode. This one is over. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this day. What do you think happened that's got Dozer so troubled? I'm worried that he tumbled into someone and accidentally crushed them to death. If you want to get as macabre as fucking possible with it, that would be my guess. But here's hoping it's not that, because that is some troubling shit. So, I guess we'll see. If you want to play this game for yourself, or you don't have to deal with my skipping over some stuff, or if you just want to support the game itself, the link is in the description down below, along with links to various ways to support me, following me on my social medias. If you want to support me further with my Patreon, YouTube memberships, Coffee, PayPal, Zazzle merch store, and I even added, because of the census, people said, the vast majority of people said that it wouldn't be a bother if I added an Amazon wish list to that, so I did. It's filled with a bunch of stuff that are relatively inexpensive. I think the most expensive thing on there is maybe $50, but that is dog food, because there's stuff on there that you can buy for Spoofy, and if you buy it, you send it. I will film a video and put it up on this or my second channel, whichever, of me telling Spoofy that you bought him a toy or a treat or the food or whatever, because I think that was adorable and he would really appreciate it too. So if you want to do that, the links to all that is in the description down below, along with the buttons to indicate whether or not you liked this episode, you know, liking, commenting, sharing, or subscribing if you would like to see more stuff like this. But anyway, oh, and also the cards. I've been trying to add in those little eye things that pop up in the video every once in a while for other series, that if you like this series, other series I've done, that you may also enjoy. I think that's everything. Comment of the day at the end of the video. You can only get to be the comment of the day if you comment. How the fuck does anyone get through all of this shit and make it sound natural? There's so much stuff. And so I guess that's why people spread call to actions throughout videos. By the way, thanks to the Sharkakuga for making that subscribe pop-up animation thing. Because those always look cool to me. They're a non-verbal way to remind people to subscribe. I never could figure out how to make one, and he just offered one day to make it. So thanks. Thank you very much for that. Is that it? And are we done? Can we go now? Okay. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I've been trained and professional. You're not. Bye, everyone!